Hello, everybody, and welcome to this posted stream I've done. It is yours truly, KaneFan701. A few days ago, I turned 32 years of age, and I have to tell you, it was a fantastic birthday celebration. So forth, actually, that it was actually a double celebration. Now, why is that, you might be asking? It's because my sister-in-law turned 50 years of age at the same time I turned 32. So, my family held a double celebration party and we had so much fun. A great time with friends and relatives and with the family. It truly was something unique. I mean, I really enjoyed myself. I was in such good company. I really felt happy. Like, really happy to be alive. And what can I tell you? Despite I didn't get that much presents this year, I will admit the best gift I could ever have is my family, my friends, you guys included watching this, meaning more to me than I ever thought ever. I have to tell you, I really do feel like there is a change going on in my life. I don't know when it started or where, but I do feel happy. It's not like I'm in a good place. It's not like, it's this like you feel grand and everything. No, this is a different type of happiness. I feel positive. I feel the sensation of just being happy where I am today, regardless of how far we have all traveled in the last couple of years. You know, since the dawning of the 2020s, it has been difficult. I've gone through hell and back, and I refused to give up. I've had friends who have either turned on me, backstabbed me, some who have fallen to the coronavirus, others who went their own ways without saying goodbye, which left a painful backstab pain in me. I've had a lot of things happen, but the one thing that did not happen, I didn't give up. I stuck my ground, fought back, and while I have slowly been moving on, I've made newer friends in the progress, much better friends than I could ever imagine. I've had some reunions with some old friends that I haven't seen since I was little. I've just, been rediscovering parts of my childhood that I thought I had lost. And at the same time, I've been doing so well by, even by looking at myself in the mirror, with former friends who have told me the only person who can fix your mistakes in life is yourself. And I have done that. I have looked into the mirror many, many times, and I can see how I've struggled. I'm not the only one who's done this alone. You guys as well, and everywhere else I can relate to have done the same thing. And we've always been stronger than we might imagine. And I feel so proud of where I am right now. I feel like I've, battened the odds and beaten the odds. Like this strong motivation of being just positive with myself, to be proud of where I am, means more than I could ever think. And I'm telling you guys, if it wasn't for you and all you guys who have supported me for so long, it means the world to me. It does go to show that despite how humanity and how people have been, there is good and care and love still shown by those who are willing to be that way. And I've been, coming down with a lot of honesty and open of a lot of things to clear off, to clear so much of me that I had to try and reinvent who I am for a good person that I can be. And despite that I have been horribly misunderstood, very misunderstood and cruelly misled as a bad person, I do have a lot of good in me. A lot of people just choose not to see it. And let me tell you, the motivations that I've been seeing have definitely had an effect on me. Last year was a big turning point in my life. I am so happy that it worked out for me, and it continues to do so. Getting back into society has been tough. The good thing is, though, I challenged myself for this. I went out there and I found humanity had still got some good life left in it. And I've reached out to a lot of people who did that. And I just feel like it took away all the badness that I had to suffer with, all the negativity that we had to suffer from 2020, from 2021, and all the way to where we are now. It's been difficult, but the journey still continues on. And regardless of the outcome, it was worth putting myself through. And I am proud to know that I'm still here, still fighting strong. And I feel happy where I am, like I said. While 2023 has dawned in such rocky fashion, it has been very difficult for a lot of things. Emotionally, physically, and emotionally. I, for one, know that I am proud to know that I have found a new direction in life that I can take. Where it leads me, I haven't got a clue. The outcome is unknown. But around me, though, humanity and society is absolutely shaky as ever. You know, I really do feel like there is a change and shift happening right now. Here in America, here in the United Kingdom, it is stressful enough that I cannot say as much. But the price is going up, and of course, our government has definitely been in shambles of itself. Since Queen Elizabeth died last September, Britain absolutely just cascaded into a shell of its former self. But we are rebuilding slowly. It's a painful progress, but my nation that I knew and loved is getting there. It will soon regrow back. Although outside of England is a different story. While America is still divided by the acts of what we've been seeing again, as if a threat of repeat of 2020 happening all over again, ever since the May 25th. I know. But I'm being very honest with you guys, and I'm opening up about this. Once again, the two forces of two races colliding once again. But once more, the forces and police officers in the US are once again getting battered and brutalized. But this is a different story in itself. What happened back then was very different. When we, as in our flesh coloring, were meant to look like the bad guys. And now it's their own kind who are doing it now, as we've seen. As much as it distresses me and upsets me to tell you that, this is a different type of outrage. While I've been finding some good people who are like us, not considered equal, not considered equality, and nothing like that, but of neutral trust and love is what we found. But because of all of what's happening in America right now, a nation that's divided by racism and self-discrimination and all the BS stuff that we've been seeing, it does make me fearful and worry for my friends. Like you guys over there across the pond, I am worried for. And I still worry to this very day, to show that I care and support you guys. And while that is unfortunately the inevitable thing that's happening right now, I just hope that nothing bad comes out of it. Regardless, it doesn't matter what side we're on, because I, for one, am still staying, as I said before, I'm not going to get involved anymore. I will never pick a side, because at the end of the day, as one certain individual once said, all lives matter, we all matter. Screw who we are in the flesh. It's the same blood that we bleed. If you look past that, you can see that we're all the same. And as I used to say, as somewhat of a joke, would it matter if I was in multi-colours of the rainbow? Not really. A colour's a colour no matter what it is. But putting that aside, I actually saw recently a very strong emotional speech coming from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. And I've never seen so much motivation from that person. While the war in Ukraine and Russia is still ongoing, there is a tide coming that might shift in our favour with them. While I do not wish anything worse for the so-called bad guys right now who are basically starting this whole thing, I still hope and pray for peace for Ukraine and to restore its restoration, to bring peace to those who have been lost, to those who have come to us for help and support. The United States and Britain And even Germany, of all nations, oddly enough, have sent their support as well. It's incredible. The three forces that once fought are now united. And, I literally cannot believe how it unfolded. We're almost nearly a year in, and look at how different things have changed within it. It's absolutely incredible. But I have a very good hunch that 2023 will signify the tide of a great turning point. I'm not saying I'm very optimistic about it, but I definitely am very, very, curious, very curious to see how things are going to unfold. And who knows? Maybe it will end this year. It could end the following year. It could be in 2025. Who knows when? But I know for a fact that one day, just someday, peace will soon rain down, and eventually Ukraine will be rebuilt. And the only nation that has to be blamed is the one that's coming out from the east, who started it all off because of its leader, who wanted a war and take back what he thought it was his. And yes, while I do have pure utter hatred for President Putin and for his supporters and followers, just remember, this is a battle he will not win. Ukraine will stand proud and tall, while the United Kingdom, from where I come from, the United States, Germany, and all parts of Europe will lend their support. And in the end, it will all be said and done. Slava Ukrainian, my friends, and my brothers in arms who will fight for freedom. And that's what we will do. As for what 2023 will bring to all of us, who knows? But we have to remain positive, hold on for hope, and for everybody else that we know and love and care for our friends and family. And I, for one, am one of many who strongly believe that. While it is a difficulty to know that we're still facing hard times, we cannot give up. We cannot give up for the hopes and dreams that we still have in our lives. Many of us want to enjoy life for the best as it can be. I too struggle for it, but I'm not giving up. No matter what people think, regardless of you, regardless of what people think of me as a person, it doesn't really matter. I'm who I am, and I'm proud of it. Regardless of all the mistakes I've done, regardless of everything that I have been bullied with, harassed with, and all the crap I've had to endure, you guys stood beside me the entire time. For those of you who have been in the crossfire of it all, I know it's been tough. There are friends I can never get back, some who have been blindly, to know where they could go. But like I said, I've learned some good lessons that have definitely made me a better person. For friends I thought I could trust showed their true colors of who they were, proving that they were never friends. And I've stuck with those who have been with me who are my actual friends, those who I look upon as my brothers in arms, those who have cared of me like a family. They are still with me. You guys specifically are just that as well. I know I sound like I'm going off on a speech or whatever it was, but you just got to understand the passion and motivation of how I feel right now. I really feel like a totally new, different person. Maybe for the best. But I cannot stress enough, the love and support you guys have had for me. It's just, out of this world. There's good and bad within all of us. But I just hope and pray that somehow 2023 becomes a great year for all of us, despite what's been going on right now around us. But if we were to remove that, if we were to take that out of the equation of our lives and focus on ourselves in general and everything else that we're trying to focus on, then that way we can endure a greater year for all of us, despite how we're struggling at this point. There is hope and light at the end of the tunnel. The classic old saying goes, every cloud has a silver lining. And I think that's what a lot of us are having hanging over our heads right now. Well, I'd like to take this moment to say, thank you for listening in for what I'm trying to say. I hope that everybody else who hear this can have motivation and find something to help with their own in life as well. I, for one, know that if anybody can believe what they can do, they have my full support. I'm just so glad that things have turned out better for me ever since I turned 32 a couple of days ago. I'm very happy to know that I'm still here and I'm doing so well. Out there in the outer world, outside the internet, life has definitely been a rocky roller coaster. While there are those in need who are in much worse condition than I am, I know I try and help people and get motivated in their own ways, which does mean more to me than I ever think. But I will have to say, though, it still pains me with the memories I've had to endure for the last couple of years. While there was a lot of misunderstanding about me, and people just paint me in a wrong way, I never deserved what I got during the last couple of years. Maybe in the eyes of others I did, but when you look back at this when you get older, you're probably thinking to yourself, maybe it wasn't a good idea, because I have been a hurtful individual, and while I have never intended to make others suffer for that, for what I was going through as well, I'm not trying to say I'm justifying what I'm saying. All of us, and I mean all of us, not just me, because I'm not the center of attention for this, all of us, and I mean, again, every single human on this planet went through hell and back. And we all made stupid decisions in lives that have made us of what we are now. And I've seen those who have continuously decided to go down that toxic path and never returned. I, for one, though, know that some people can change it for the better. People sometimes say that in desperation, or try and use it as a smokescreen to fool others or to inflict harm and cruelty. But as for me, I've been there and back. And as emotional as I feel about it, maybe it was a thing that had to happen so that I don't have to repeat that thing ever again. Even though I've been seen upon, being cruelly mislooked upon as a wrong person, I never took that final step into being utterly hatred, where others continue to do so. Whereas for me, let's just say I've come back as a better person. 2022 was the year that definitely made me step out of it completely. And I've continuously have done so, and I'm proud that some of the things that you guys taught me and suggested of what I could do to help fix all my problems that I've had to indulge since then, it worked out. It really did work. And I'm so emotionally happy about it. Despite the fact that a lot of us are suffering from, the inequality and all the other BS stuff that we've done before, despite there is a lot of political BS which doesn't make any sense, despite all the things that we see from the toxic social media to people who just will never leave us alone, to the cowardness of bullyingism, to whatever that crap is, to everything else that we've seen from the Thomas fandom, to the MLP, to Star Wars, even in the anime industry, or anywhere else. We've all had an up and down lifetime with it. But make no mistake about it, eventually things do get sorted out, and eventually a good, peaceful time eventually will return. While we are still in the aftermath of the post-pandemic, which, as you all know, has been still said about, a lot of people have said that was obviously the worst and horriblest, darkest time in our life. And maybe so. But like I said before, that was a year that many of us will never want to look back on and never want to learn from again. Not even a single moment of that year. Who knows what will happen if we ever make it to the 2030s, you know? Maybe that will bring us a better time if we ever live to see it. And I hope and pray we do make it there into the next decade because, quite frankly, if you want my honest opinion, the 2020s is something that, you know, we were hoping to be fully even brighter future for a greater time to see where we could go in the new millennium. But it just hasn't been that way. And none of us foresaw that. But we've adapted to the times, and while the world has changed around us mainly for the bad, in a way, as I say, very, very, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I use that very heavily to say. There we go. But at the end of the day, good times will come back. Eventually, good times will return. And while we are still here helping each other, you know, we are still here to help each other regardless of everything that we've done. To be quite honest, now that I think about it from another point of view, ever since 2020, the pandemic, the racial war that unfolded, all because of an officer who did do his job right, and I don't care if anybody criticizes me for what I'm saying with that, that's just me. And now it's happened again, time and time again. You know, that's something completely different that I just wish I could not go on about, but it does bugger me a lot, and it still does as I speak right now. But even though that has come to pass, despite everything that we've endured, we're still here. We're still fighting to live. Regardless of politics, regardless of self-discrimination and people who think they're better than anybody else, despite all the toxicness on social media, despite how the modern generation continues to crumble upon itself, there are those like us who are neutral, who continue to live regardless of what we follow. At the end of the day, we're all human. We are born to make mistakes in life. It's what makes us more human if you learn more about it. And I learned a long time ago that sometimes failing in life can be a good thing. Sometimes half the fun is failing, learning from your mistakes, and then you wake up one particular morning and the next day, you come back a lot more better and try and be a bit more smarter than the last time. That's something that I learned a long time ago. Even though I continue to make mistakes, like little mistakes, and not like intentional and bad or whatever, as some people might want to think, let's just say, you know, let's just say in a way that this year we are definitely going through a much more rockier time, despite last year and the year before were very terrible. But I do have a good hunch eventually that 2023 is going to be much better. I just feel, like I said before in the beginning, I feel really happier where I am right now. If you were to take the equation of everything else that's around me right now, that's, you know, a completely different story for another day. Like I said before, who knows where we're going to go? And who knows what this year will have? But I know for a fact that slowly and inchly, inch by inch, step by step, good times will return. It's not a prophecy I'm saying, it's not a promise, it's not a sight foreseeing, it's just the truth. The truth that I'm saying right now. I can only hope and pray for you guys that you have a great year yourselves, despite how you guys are feeling right now, regardless of what's happening in your own lives. We will pull through together. And eventually, who knows when and when, we'll all be happy on our own 2 feet. But I know for a fact, we'll get there eventually. The light is shining at the end of the tunnel, and we'll all come out of there. It's what I said 3 years ago, well, close to 3 years actually, when the pandemic hit. I said, you know, I was very hypothesized about it, and I said in a couple of years, it will blow over. And kind of enough, it did. I mean, we all went into lockdown. We all made it through. Well, for those who did follow the rules, like myself. And then we pushed through again. We took the vaccination and we survived. I too took the vaccination and survived, despite coming down with COVID 2 times. Fighting the odds and succeeding is what we had to do. And regardless of where we are right now, I say in such a very short time we've come so far. But I still believe that we have a long journey ahead of us. Whenever that day comes, I just hope and pray we'll be around to see that happen. Eventually, the good times will return. Thank you for listening in for this little stream reviewing I'm doing. And I hope you guys are doing well. I might come back a bit later on for another stream, but I just wanted to really get a lot of stuff off me to let you know that I'm doing very, very good. Despite I've just recently turned 32, I'm happy to be where I am in life. And I hope you guys are doing well as I just pray that in every nation that you're in, you're doing very well as well. So take good care, everybody. This is KFan701. I'll see you again sometime later in the day. Peace and love forever. Take care, everybody.